What if I asked you to tell me and name me in the comment section of this video what are the best fragrance designer releases over the last couple of years? Could you do that? Let's do one better. What if I asked you the best releases in the past decade? Could you tell me what the best designers in the last 10 years are? I'm gonna do one better for you. I'm gonna share the best releases in the past 30 years designers right in this very video. So if you guys wanna know what they are, stick around. They're coming up next. In this video, I'm gonna give you the best 30 releases designers in the past 3 decades. However, I'm gonna break it down to 2 parts. If you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and show me in the comments. If I see that you really like this video, I'll come back with part 2. Better yet, if you wanna see the top best niche releases in the past 30 years, also show me in the like and in the comment section of this video. And of course, I will come back with that video as well. My pick for the best release of 1993 is gonna go to this guy right here, Platinum Egoiste from the house of Chanel. This one has the same kind of DNA and profile of your Percival from Parfums de Marly, which came later on, and of course the infamous, when you walk into a mall, the fragrance that takes over any mall out there from Abercrombie & Fitch, Fears. That particular fragrance is actually very, very similar to this one. It's the same DNA, a little sweeter, but all in all, this is more aromatic. This is a great scent. Platinum Egoiste from 1993 is my favorite pick for that year. Platinum Egoiste is definitely an aromatic fragrance. You do have lavender here, you have vetiver, you have herbal components, you have some sweetness to the fragrance, but all in all, a fantastic gentleman type scent. Fast forward to 1994, Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme, which happens to be one of my all-time favorite fragrances. An aromatic fragrance with a fougere / tobacco kind of a base. I love this fragrance. Opens up with all the Mediterranean citrus notes, which is very inspiring, transparent citrus aromatic fragrance with lavender, blonde tobacco, which makes this so exquisite. I absolutely love this fragrance. This is one that I wear for every special occasion in my life. I talked about this fragrance for many years here on the channel. For over a decade, I've been saying how much this stuff is special. If you can't find the one with the sticker from 1994 all the way until 2000, is the best version of this fragrance. Of course, it's been reformulated, but needless to say, 1994, Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme is the best that the designer world had to offer. Fast forward to 1995, it started a whole genre. It's a groundbreaking trendsetter fragrance. Of course, we're talking about the Neo Fougere La Mole from Jean-Paul Gaultier. The nose behind this one, Francis Kurkdjian, which has his own fragrance line, MFK, Maison Fragrance Kurkdjian. This is a Neo Fougere fragrance, also with lavender, the mint up top, the vanilla base. A very unique and very trendsetter, but you have to give credit for what this fragrance stood for over the last 3 decades as one of the top selling fragrances for man of all time, and something that really, you look at this torso, you automatically, immediately recognize the power and how incredible this fragrance was. Of course, granted, whatever is available today is not going to be very powerful or very long lasting, but if you can manage to find an older bottle like this one, you are going to be mesmerized by the uniqueness and how great this fragrance is. From the nose of Alberto Morillas, one of the best creators of fragrances in the world to this day. This is, of course, from Armani, Acqua di Gio. From 1996, the Eau de Toilette, the original, the predecessor for this incredible fruity, floral, citrus, aquatic, ozonic type of a genre. This stuff is absolutely incredible. One of my favorites of all time. If I did a list with my top 20 favorite fragrances of all time, this would definitely make that list. Whatever's available today is still gonna give you what the proposition was, what the fragrance was trying to achieve at that point. But unfortunately, the reformulations made them very weak, or much weaker than they were. If you can manage to find yourself a vintage bottle, you're gonna really appreciate the fragrance, from beginning to end. This stuff here is an absolute masterpiece. In fact, most, if not everything I'm talking about here is the best of all time of these designer brands. No difference here with Acqua di Gio, the original, or the Toilette from 1996. From the house of Christian Dior, this is Dune Pour Homme. There's also a Pour Femme version of this fragrance, which I believe was released in 96, but this is the masculine fragrance. It is absolutely out of this world good, ladies and gentlemen. You can find this today still because it was never a really popular fragrance, so there's still a whole bunch of bottles of this fragrance kicking around at discounters. All I can say is if you manage to find one that is vintage, such as this one, grab it, because this to me is a phenomenal fragrance. There is a cult following for this fragrance, including yours truly. I love this stuff. Dune Pour Homme by Dior is a great woody aromatic fragrance. There's lavender here, there's definitely the fig leaf, there's this, it's not a very fruity fig, but it's a leafy green herbal type of a fig scent. Great stuff, very aromatic, very gentleman-like, very classic feeling to this fragrance. Absolute stunner from 1997, Dune from Christian Dior 𝗏𝗏. Speaking of cult following, the one I'm about to share with you is this green juice from the house of Gucci. This is Gucci Envy for Man. Of course, the green juice, I love this stuff. This is a fantastic, woody, spicy fragrance like I've never smelt before. This is, spoke of cult following before. This one has a phenomenal cult following. I see people, when you talk about fragrances that they wish brands would bring back, this is always in like the top 10 fragrances that people always, even sometimes top 5, that people would love designers to bring back. Gucci Envy for Man is one of the holy grails of the designer fragrance world in the past 30 years. In fact, if I had to narrow down this list here after I share with you the top 15 choices here, if I had to pick my top 5, this would be in that top 5. That's how good this stuff is. Pepper, coriander, rose, sandalwood, vetiver, cardamom are some of the main notes here. This is a gorgeous dry down of a spicy, creamy sandalwood and peppery as well. Absolutely fantastic fragrance. This to me is a magic potion. I truly hope that Gucci brings this back. Gucci, if you're listening, this is a must bring back, please. I don't know what the story was, but it's one of those fragrances that I think was ahead of its time, including some of the other ones that I'll be talking about very soon. They were just released in a wrong time. I think right now it would be perfect for Gucci to bring this back. I hope you're listening, Gucci. And this is the Tom Ford era, when Tom Ford was the creative director of Gucci. This is just a masterpiece. The next one is coming up here from 1999 is my favorite from the Allure line of fragrances. This is the first Allure ever made, and this particular bottle is from 1999. I can't believe I still have it. The original Allure owned by Jack Poage, which back then was the in-house perfumer. This is a masterpiece, another masterpiece of a fragrance. This is a woody, spicy leather fragrance that is just one of those fragrances that when you smell, it's gonna have you at hello. Whether you're wearing it yourself or you're smelling somebody else, it's just gonna attract you. You're gonna wanna know, what fragrance they're wearing. And if it's you, they're gonna ask you, what are you wearing? You're gonna get compliments. It's one of those very compliment inducing. This is a timeless type of a fragrance, very classy smelling. I'm glad Chanel still has this in their portfolio. I love the whole Allure line, but this is definitely my favorite. From 1999, we hop into 2000. I'm going with this one here, the Eau de Toilette Mousse de Cartier Pour Homme 2000 is the best release for 2000. As I always say to you guys, Cartier is a very underrated brand when it comes to fragrance releases. They don't really normally follow the trends. They do their own thing, and that's exactly what they did here with Mousse de Cartier. This is a woody floral scent, very aromatic, very inspiring, very classy, very timeless. One of those fragrances that will complement any attire. Opens up with a blast of floral components like carnation, for example. There's a lot of different floral components here, tons of citrus notes, and there's an aniseed or anise component here. It's not overbearing. It's not going to be like a licorice type vibe. It's going to lend a little bit of an herbal, spicy feeling to the fragrance that is just so unique to this composition. Ginger, cinnamon, sandalwood, musk, some of the other notes here. One word to define Mousse de Cartier Pour Homme is sensual. This is a sensual juice, ladies and gents. If you can manage to get a bottle, grab it because it is just out of this world. From 2001, Michael from Michael Kors, which is a spicy tobacco and leather fragrance. In fact, this fragrance here was re-released in 2014, which even if you compare them side by side, the color of the juice is not as dark as this 2001 composition. In the fragrance itself, we're talking dried fruits, gorgeous leather here, tons of woods in the base, spicy, long-lasting, powerful. One of those fragrances that flew under the radar, and still to this day, not many people are aware that this was even a thing. But I'm telling you right now, if you find the one with just the word Michael on the bottle, get it, because this is an incredible fragrance that if you like what I'm saying here, if you like what you hear, if your taste is similar to mine, you like woody, spicy leather and tobacco fragrances with dried fruits, almost like a cognac feel here, you're gonna love this one, guys. Now let's jump to 2002. If you had asked me, hey Max, after you finish the list, you can only keep one fragrance from everything you talked about, this would have been it. Of course, from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, way ahead of its time. The creative director was Tom Ford. And by now you should be aware of this. You should know I'm talking about the infamous, the incredible, the trendsetter Tom Ford's, or Yves Saint Laurent, Tom Ford under his nose under his creation, M7. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the 7th, hence the fact M7, masculine 7, the 7th masculine release. This is an absolute beast. We're talking amber, bergamot, oud, leather. The amber here is incredible. It gets a little bit powdery in the dry down. The beginning is absolutely incredible, dark, oudy. You have woods, wood, the Oud Wood, of course. This is a little similar to Oud Wood from Tom Ford, private blend, but this is a lot spicier, a lot heavier. This is a beast of a fragrance, way ahead of its time. I love the brown, simplistic, minimalist bottle. This is a masterpiece, the best fragrance in the last 30 years, in my opinion, or definitely in the top 3, guys, because of course I'm gonna talk about other things that were incredible, but this one here, guys, if you can manage to get yourself a bottle that's completely brown like this, you had found gold, because that's what this is. This is gold, this is pure gold. If you love oud, this was way ahead of its time. Think about it, when this came out, nobody was really talking about oud in this part of the world, and Tom Ford comes out with this fragrance here in 2002 that just blows everybody's mind. And again, because of poor sales in the designer counter, this, I think a couple of years later became discontinued and very hard to find. Now, if you find this, like I said, it's like you found and you struck gold. Moving on to 2003, this is Gucci Pour Homme, or Gucci Pour Homme 1, as it became known after the release of Gucci Pour Homme 2. What can I say about this, guys? This is a dark woods, incense, velvety kind of a vetiver base. Absolutely stunning. There's nothing in the market today that's remotely close to Gucci Pour Homme 1. This is another masterpiece, one that I highly suggest you guys checking out. It's not going to be cheap if you find this, but because this is so unique, if you do manage to find a bottle, you're going to smell so unique, nothing like anybody else, and it's definitely going to make you stand out. So this is one of the best fragrances that the designer world had to offer in the past 30 years, period. For my top pick in 2004, which was a whole collection by incredible master nose, Jean-Claude Ellena. He created a collection called the Hermescence by Hermès, and of course, my pick goes to Vetiver Tonka. You guys know how much I love my Vetivers. This is a very, very intriguing take on vetiver because it has this nutty hazelnut kind of a feel to the fragrance. It has this honey-like facet to it. The vetiver here is incredibly made. It's fruity, it's woody, it's nutty. It's one of my favorite vetivers of all time. In fact, I think I'm going to start a list here or a series on this channel that I'm going to talk about holy grails. I'm going to go through all the top notes in perfumery, and I'm going to give you guys maybe my top 10 or top 15. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a list of the best fragrances within a certain note. And of course, this would have made my top vetiver fragrances of all time. Vetiver Tonka from 2004, nothing short of a masterpiece. So I have to say, we talk about masterpieces here. This one here, when it comes to a great natural sexual, as this was known by when it first dropped in the world of fragrances, because guys, they were smelling this and was like, what is this thing? It smells like makeup, smells like lipstick. By now you should know I'm talking about the incredible masterpiece Dior Homme from the house of Christian Dior. This, of course, a 2011 release. I don't have the metal straw or the metal filter or the metal tube that you would find with the earlier release from 2005 or the original release of Dior Homme. Needless to say, this is a 2011, still great. This fragrance was heavily reformulated over the years, but what made this a standout fragrance was the incredible use of iris. They used the butter, orris butter. The iris note in here is incredible. It's nothing short of a masterpiece, like I said. Great fragrance, sweet, aromatic, woody. The iris here gives you this, almost like when you open a makeup, you smell that kind of a makeup-y, lipsticky kind of a vibe. That's what you're gonna get here in the opening, but it's so much more. The fragrance develops. As it warms up with your body chemistry, becomes this perfection of a phenomenal cashmere sweater feel that I get with this fragrance. This, early spring and fall is just perfection. This is a fragrance that if you haven't really discovered, this is a must discover. In the world of fragrances, especially when you're looking at designer fragrances or fragrances overall, Dior Homme is something that will just open your mind. If you're used to the same old things that are available today, and again, don't get the 2020 version of this fragrance because you have to get the one that says Dior Homme Original to understand what I'm talking about. But if you do manage to get your nose on this fragrance, you're gonna really open your fragrant palette to a world of possibilities. Because this here, again, one of the best. If I had to keep 3 fragrances, this would be the one. If I had to keep just one, it would probably be between Envy or M7. Gucci Envy or M7 by Yves Saint Laurent. But this one here is right behind it. This is a great fragrance. There's no two ways about it. So fast forward to 2006, after making so many hits to so many different designers out there, Yves Saint Laurent, Gucci, of course, Tom Ford founded his own brand in 2005. And in 2006, he dabbed into the world of perfumery. This is going to be Tom Ford's Black Orchid. Way ahead of its time when it came out. Black truffle, it's very indolic, fruity, floral, bitter, animalic kind of a feel. Just sings on your body. on your skin. This was said to be one of Michael Jackson's favorite fragrances as he wore regularly. Looking at the notes, we got dried fruits, ylang-ylang, black truffle, black orchid, fruity notes, frankincense, patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla, vetiver. This is a bomb of a fragrance. This is an old formulation I have here, but whatever's available today on the market is still good. There has been a few different variations or flankers or iterations of this fragrance in the market. If you get the original one, I think the Eau de Parfum, the original formulation of this fragrance is where it's at, guys. This, incredible, guys. If you like daring, mysterious, dark fragrances, this is your ticket right here. I want to let you know that you can find pretty much all the fragrances that I talked about here in this video in their original forms at perfume.com, where you can find designers, niche, indie fragrances, thousands to choose from, and of course, hard to find discontinued vintage fragrances, just like the ones I talked to you about in this video. So check out perfume.com. You guys know it's the best place to try it before you buy it. You get yourself a decant, you live with the fragrance, make sure you love it. When you're ready to commit to a full bottle, you could do that because you already were on skin and you know you love it before you just, blind buy it. Don't blind buy, test before you buy it, try it before you buy it. Perfume.com, use my code MAX12. All fragrances will be listed below. And of course, if you want to try the original vintage formulas, check out perfume.com so you could do that. Over the last few years, Dior has been really stuck on the Sauvage line, but you have to understand that's their cash cow. We fragrance aficionados and frag heads are not very happy about that. But if you go back a few decades or a few years, Dior was always, one of the best designer brands out there, period. But here's my favorite pick from 2007 from Dior. This is Christian Dior's Eau Sauvage Fraîcheur Cure, or fresh leather. This is a fresh take on leather. So basically it took the original DNA and citrus aromatic fusion that you have with Eau Sauvage from 1966 and gave this leathery, fougere, very aromatic feel and infusion to that original DNA of Eau Sauvage, creating Fraîcheur Cure. This is one that really is worth checking out. If you manage to get yourself a bottle, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you like Eau Sauvage, but you love your fougères as well and your leather fragrances, that's what you're gonna get here, is citrus aromatic, leathery type of a fragrance. 2007's favorite release for me. So there you have it, 15 of the best of all time fragrance releases in the designer's world. Part 1, which I covered from 93 to 2007. If you want to see part 2, all you have to do is leave a like, show me in the comments, show me the likes. Of course, I'll come back with part 2 to give you the best of all time designers from 2008 to 2023. And of course, if you want to see the niche part of this particular series, which I also will break it down from 93 all the way to 2023, guys, also show me the likes and let me know in the comments, and I'll come back with those best niche of all time, fragrances as well. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks for being here. And of course, I will see you right back here with another video very soon. Take care.